Hey everyone. I just wanted to open up this live today since it's all about music and spirit, that I wanted to open with a little bit of music just to set the scene and set the mood that I was feeling just before I was coming on, and what I was feeling from all of you as I was playing there. So we're also going to be having Paul come on as well, and I do see that you're here, Paul, and he's got his guitar today. So we're gonna have more music that's going to be guitar. I'm definitely going to be playing a little bit more piano, and we're just going to have a lovely evening of chatting about music and spirit and our experiences with spirit through music, as well as going into how we channel spirit through music as well. All right. So, Paul, I hope you're all ready here. I am bringing you on. Nice, Paul, thanks. Yep. Definitely feeling a little bit fired up, but not really actually. It's a very calm day. It's been quite a fall day today. Aw, thank you, Lisa. So, Paul, you should be seeing an invite from me, and I'm super excited to be having you on as well, Paul, with your guitar, which I cannot play guitar at all. That is not my instrument. I'm exclusively piano, and then I used to play flute quite a bit also in a jazz band, but not guitar, and guitar music confuses me. So it's awesome having you on with some guitar, Paul, to add a little bit of a different flavor to the music that we'll have this evening, and even how you connecting with spirit on guitar might be different, because I know that a lot of people tend to add lyrics to guitar, of course, because you can sing. A lot of people sing and play piano at the same time. That's not something I've ever been drawn to myself. Piano actually was the thing that got me talking, and it got me actually being able to feel comfortable around people and working on being able to give people eye contact, because way back when I was younger, I had a lot of trouble talking and with giving people eye contact, and my parents put Alyssa into piano to see if we can get her more comfortable being around people, and yeah, it clicked. Hey, Paul.
Hey, how you doing?
I
How are you
am
doing? I saw you
fantastic.
grounding earlier on those rocks. I love rocks. That's like my favorite place to ground is on rocks. I don't know. We have like a
The
big
rock.
place to do like huge sandstone rocks.
Oh, are you talking about, oops, these rocks here?
Oh yeah, or like the rocks that you're on the ocean earlier.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We have a lot of those here. A lot of really, really rocky beaches, and yeah, those are lovely. So, how are you doing this evening?
Pretty good, pretty nervous, pretty nervous.
Oh, don't be. I am so excited that you're coming on with me. Otherwise, it would have just been me and my piano spirit. And I love piano, and I can listen to piano, and um, I used to sit down and I practice piano for 7 hours straight and totally forgot about everything else. But I'm sure other people are not quite that invested in using piano to like speak and communicate and that much. So fantastic that you've got your guitar.
Yeah, I
And
definitely
just
love piano because like go ahead. You
um,
can go ahead.
you can keep going there.
Okay, well, yeah, I was gonna say I definitely love piano because it's so like I never knew people could show that emotion in just like one instrument. Like I was like, whoa, it's like because
Mhm,
there's so many like different keys or whatever, and you can express so much more because, or you can on guitar as well. But I don't know,
mhm.
I really enjoy piano music because it's very like calming to me, and it's very vibrational. And I like in like movies they have a lot of piano
Mhm.
music and all kinds of stuff. But it's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, you're you're talking to the very biased person where every time people ask, so why do you like piano so much? Um, I always talk about how piano is the only instrument where you can get like 15 different voices going all at once. You just have your two hands that you're playing, but you can have 15 different voices, which is amazing, especially when now that I like intentionally tap into spirit and I'm tuning into lots of different energies, or if I'm tuning into multiple different people and picking up on their energies, then with the piano, I'm able to get like all these different layers, or I can mix in different melodies or things that just flow together and it works. Whereas on something like a flute, somebody who's a flautist might say something different, but I was never able to quite get the same effect on a flute.
Yeah, I think it's so much more fun, isn't it? Now that you're like more
Mm-hmm.
tuned in, tapped in, and awakened. It's so like I know you probably have what
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it way more. You used to probably like try to be like like a certain
Oh,
way or this or way, but I bet it's so much more expanding now that you're um it's more
yeah,
expansive. Like you can put more
definitely.
emotion into it. Like when you yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because I started playing piano when I was 7, and um, I'm classically trained. So I went through years and years of being given sheet music. That was your roadmap. You followed the roadmap. But even through that, I discovered when I was about 8 years old, I got really connected with this piece called The Mist by Christopher Poole, was the name of the composer. And that was the first time when I first started playing piano, where even though I was playing off of sheet music, I found myself all of a sudden in the middle of the song a fox showed up in my mind, and this fox then asked me to follow him. And the fox took me through this misty meadow and then toward this really, really misty forest. And the fox said, I'm taking you home. And when I asked the fox, well, where am I going? Why am I following you? And then the fox, as I was playing this song, then took me deeper into the forest through these two huge silver trees. And then this beautiful veil opened up where the veil was just covered in fairies of like green and orange and yellow and purple. And there were water nymphs dancing and playing in this pond, and all these waterfalls pouring into the pond. And then this unicorn that I, after that point, got really connected with came up as well. And that was the first time where I realized that even though I was playing sheet music had like a fingerprint of the person who originally composed it and their energy. And then you were coming along and taking that music and imprinting your own energy on that music and making it into a totally different voice that was your own, even though you were following something. So at 8 years old, that's what sold me completely on piano and made me like really, really obsessed with always sitting down on it and playing it and practicing and practicing. But yeah, you're right that um, it's definitely got like kind of a strict structure to it, which I fell into as I got older and as I was playing more complex pieces and performing at festivals and concerts and getting involved with the youth symphony and everything, that it I lost some of that over time. And then it took having a really bad wrist injury that then gave me tendonitis, where suddenly I couldn't play at all the same level or the same amount of time that I used to play. And then I met this woman who called herself a seance pianist at this event that I was at. And she sat down and explained to the audience how she was tuning into all the different souls in the room and in the building. They're in this big old castle that was built way back in the early 1800s. And she was tuning into all those different souls and then playing their voices through the piano. And it was that experience that then made me realize that that was something I'd always been doing in between the really, really formal practicing and even through taking someone else's pieces and then trailing off with melodies and creating my own and having all these amazing visions and these stories coming out of them. And that's what started what I now do a lot of today, where I very consciously tap into spirit, whether it's going to my higher self, or it's Gaia, or it's um, someone's angel team, or whatever it is. And then I play that music. So that's kind of a quick rundown
The
of,
quick version.
well, my whole experience with piano.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
cool that you're
so
consciously tapped into that. That's very beautiful that you can express that and consciously tap into it, and you know you're aware of that and you use discernment, and it's very cool. And the unicorns and everything, I can't imagine that must have been crazy. And the
oh
foxes,
my gosh.
but
Oh, it really, really was. And then that unicorn in particular stayed with me for like the next couple years. And I saw her everywhere in my dreams, out of the corner of my eye and everything. And actually on Saturday, um, I'm going to be channeling a message from her and introducing her to everybody. So she's still around occasionally. But anyway, so what's your experience with music been?
well, I haven't been, so like I used to sing when I was younger and
Oh,
annoy my brother and like make songs about my brother and really annoy the hell out of him. He was my twin brother and I loved attention and I just loved just making all kinds of noises and beatboxing and saying all kinds of stuff like with him.
mhm,
And I just kind of I never had any confidence with doing like singing or guitar or anything. I've never
mhm.
performed in front of anyone before because like I've just never had the confidence to do that. But this is overcoming a big fear of mine. Just even coming on here, and it's kind of funny that yeah, just funny.
Oh, yay! I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. And just coming from someone who's performed so many times, I can't even keep track of that little bit of those like jitters and the nerves. That's always there. Um, but the thing that I've found over the years that always led me back to music and made getting out in front of people and performing okay was that it was kind of like a communion between me and then the song that I was playing, where later it was between me and it was the energy that I was tapping into. And then everything else and anyone else, they were kind of outside of that. And whatever they chose to take from it or get from it or hear from it, it was each kind of their own individual communion then with that song that I was playing. So I just found over the years that that at least was the thing that helped me, as well as, yeah, just doing things like this, stepping forward and just doing it. So I'm really, really excited, and thank you, Paul, for coming on and taking this step.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me on. This is awesome. But who do you think should go first? Do you want to go first, or or do you want me to go first?
I was leaning toward you going first, since this
Really?
opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay.
And
This is very
so this
yeah.
song that you're getting into,
Uh-huh.
what's your process with music really? Do you just pick up your guitar and then just quiet your mind and tune into whatever comes, or do you play around with stuff ahead of time and tap into um, spirit ahead of time and then kind of create a song? Because I know everybody's got different ways of doing things.
Yeah, I think just trying to be in alignment when I do it. That's the most important thing. And I kind of wrote a little bit of it, or like I just most of it's improv on all of it's improv, just like kind of. And then my guitar playing, I've never been able to learn other people's songs very well at all. Like I've never been able to remember lyrics and pick up songs, like maybe a little bit, but I've always just kind of just played around and with my own stuff or whatever. I can't even remember my own lyrics actually, so that's why I have like a little sheet right here you can see. But it's gonna be. I'm just gonna do
Oh,
that. But this song's kind of about. I don't. I guess I can just say what if. Should I not say what it's about and just see what everyone thinks, or should I?
play the song. I always say play the song and just let it breathe, and be whatever it'll be for each individual. So afterwards, if you want to talk a little bit about your inspiration from it and what you were tapping into, um, I do always love hearing that, and I'm sure everyone else would too. So everyone watching, cheer on Paul! This is so exciting. I love the guitar. I can't play it at all though, as I was saying at the beginning. So
Just trying to calm my nerves a little bit, but I mean, you're always gonna have a little bit of nerves, so it's all good.
mhm. Yep, and whatever comes is whatever comes. All good.
Get these sweaty hands. Feel where you are. You said la 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 la. You said why I you open myself to the light. You said why you said I need. I need love. That my heart, my heart, my heart. Oh, my friends, I'm waiting for you. Where are you? Right beside me. Where have you been all this time? We can together, together, fly to the light, the light, oh, the light, the light. But yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, I was
Yay!
really nervous, like the first part, if you couldn't understand,
That's
if you
okay.
couldn't, I don't know.
Nerves are often part of it too. That was beautiful. That was so beautiful. I love the lyrics too, especially the bit about the heart.
Yeah,
Yay!
I know my lyrics are sometimes pretty cheesy, but like I like to focus on try to focus on the emotion and the energy as much as possible. It's sometimes harder for me to do that when I am in front of other people because it's so much sometimes it's easier by yourself. You can just you're more comfortable with
Mhm.
yourself and but it's still good that to go and do that in front of other people and share that with other people. But yeah.
Yeah, and you're getting so many hearts and lots of clapping right now, Paul. Everyone loved it. And yeah, the point is just putting it out there and adding that little bit of music into all the layers and layers of sound that is out there. That was wonderful. Oh, Kristen says she loves that message of, yeah, your friends coming toward the light. And that's something
Yeah.
that you don't get with, like, well, at least the way I play piano, you don't get that added layer of lyrics. So that's really, really wonderful. And I love that as well because that adds a whole other layer of um, just what people can get from that particular song. And they can see a part of you and they can connect with it. It's wonderful. Oh.
Yeah. And yeah, it wasn't only about my friends. It was more about
Mhm,
it was like when I was writing it or when I wrote it right beforehand, but or
mhm,
it was also about me, like in a way. Like I'm like I didn't know who I was before, but like now I
mhm,
found like who I am. So it's like my friend, I found my friend, I found who I am. And
mhm.
yeah, I didn't realize that when I was writing it, but that's what it was really about, I think. And like the like my like spirit friends in spirit, too as well.
Mhm.
And but it's also a little bit about my old friends that are kind of, more
Mhm.
they're
Yeah,
just kind of
about that
lost a
whole
little
kind of.
bit, but yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyways,
Yeah.
it was yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So yeah.
Thank you. You did it. So beautiful.
I can't wait to hear you
And
now. Oh my gosh.
oh, yeah. Well, what I'm feeling and kind of the way that I do like all those pieces that I do mostly every Sunday. So I'm probably going to put up one tomorrow because Sunday sort of came and disappeared this weekend because it was Canadian Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh yeah. But um, for those songs and a lot of what I do, just even when it's just me in spirit and I've got no audience at all, I just sit down at the piano. I've got my camera set on record, and I usually just tune into what's the key that I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll just go straight to a little bit of a pattern in the left hand. And usually I have kind of this bass pattern going just in my left hand. And then from there, I just tune in further to my higher self or to whatever energy I'm tapping into. And I let that energy then just guide my right hand. and take it wherever it goes. Sometimes that means the song has a clear melody that gets repeated. Sometimes the song goes all over the place and is more like this meandering through like a forest or through an ocean or through the stars or wherever I happen to be going at a particular point. And so, yeah, it really, really, I find, just gets left up to very, very big interpretation for people who are listening. Though sometimes I do also get like a specific little message that comes along with the song, especially if I'm tapping into like Gaia or um, yeah, the song that I'm going to be posting up tomorrow. I just tuned into my male guardian angel, and so he had a little message. So it kind of varies depending on things. And oh, it's talking, making me thirsty.
That was so amazing. Oh my God. That was so awesome. That's
That was an
awesome.
interesting one tonight. Usually, I think it's all of you watching. Felt lots of different keys and melodies going on tonight. A lot of different emotions from all of you. So thank you to all of you for just having your energy in this space because it's fun for me to kind of tap into a live audience and just see, okay, where does all of the energy that I'm getting from the people who are tuning in go? 'Cause that did not go where I was even expecting it. But that's the wonderful magic of like tapping into spirit and just seeing where it does take you. Aw, thank you, Ursula.
That's amazing you have the confidence to do that, to just go wherever it takes you, you know what I mean? That's like the best way to do it, as well as to stay in the moment when you're doing that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, but again, it's taken many years of practice, and I did play in a jazz band for about 5 years as well, and that kind of threw me in the deep end for um, improv and being put on the spot as a pianist, and basically having, okay, I'm in this key right now. That's the only thing I know, and then just riffing off of like the melodies and stuff, and so I've definitely had some practice just being like wherever stuff goes, it's gonna go. And sometimes it means too when I do um, just sit down and tap into spirit and just let spirit guide my fingers wherever they're gonna go. I will hit some discordant notes or things where I'm like, ow, that sounds a little bit off, but that's part of the melody because it's part of whatever energy or emotions that I may be picking up on that is coming from, say, like a whole audience, or like if I'm just tuning into like the general, like outside and it's like thunderstorm and raining. And then, yeah, sometimes there'll be something that'll show up that's a bit discordant, or it's like, but it's part of kind of that flow and just going, basically like making music the words that instead of verbally channeling what spirit is wanting to get across, you just use the music. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. That was so cool. Like I really liked it felt like calming and grounding for me. Like piano music always does, but I felt like especially so. And also it was a lot of love, and felt like I was floating on water kind of. It was awesome. But and it had so much different fluidity and flavor to it, which is really, really cool. It was awesome.
Well, cool hearing yeah, what you're feeling from it. And oh, that's beautiful, Liz. Thank you. Yeah, because interesting kind of hearing reactions of people listening as well because when I'm playing, I'm just like usually not even totally aware because I've just let spirit sort of take over. Sometimes I have like a little bit of a sense where I'm like, yeah, this is just kind of taking me, and it feels like sometimes like spirit's gone and just taken me. Like tonight, they took me and gave me this big hug. And that helps too for just letting yourself kind of step away, like letting that, oh no, what if this is not going to go right? And step that little voice out of the way and just be like, okay, I'm going to sit myself in the hands of spirit here.
Do you feel like it was like your spirit guides kind of hugging you, or just like a few different things?
It
Like
depends on what I'm tapping into. So the other day when I was channeling Gaia through a song, or it might have been about a week ago, um, she just filled up my entire room, and then I felt like she was just everywhere around me and within me, and just outside. And so that was a really, really strong feeling, just specifically from Gaia. Whereas tonight, it felt more because I was tuning into like all of you watching. Like I had my male guardian angel with me, and then I had other angels who were kind of coming in as well, just tethering me to certain points and movements. So it's kind of a whole mix. And other times it's like me just tuning into, say, my higher self, and then it feels very, very in line with like just me and that whole tether right there. So kind of depends, really.
Yeah, I love that energy when that you just feel like you're just being hugged with their light, you know? Oh, it feels so good. And especially when Gaia does it, oh my gosh. You feel like it's so nurturing and just like, "Oh, I just want to stay here forever. I don't want to live life anymore."
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. She's one of my favorites to tap into too, especially when I am playing piano, because yeah, even with my years of like performance, it's nice to have her grounding presence where I'm just like I can feel her pulling on my feet and just really, really settling me as I'm like sitting. And then it helps to like just push away any of those like ego-based nerves. So
Oh yeah, that's great. And yeah, to the bottom, you feel it to like the bottom of your feet and stuff. And
mhm.
but like
Yeah.
I feel like that yeah, it's really important for a lot of people to like ground through the soles of their feet because we've all been in like different alien lifetimes and stuff, and it's yeah,
Mhm.
that's like why we have 2 feet, honestly, is to ground with them. That's like the reason that we have them. That's the reason we're walking with on 2 feet and not and the birds are like flying and they're working with like the grid or something. We're working more with the earth, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But
That's a really good point actually. Which yeah, kind of brings to mind for me that well, we're upright, so that's like a pillar. So really, really like this conductor of energy. But yeah, really good
you're
point.
like an instrument. You're like a musical instrument. That's what you are. Like a
Yeah,
vibrational
we truly
frequency
are.
almost.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really drew me to the piano originally, despite the fact that I kind of just arbitrarily got put into it by my parents. It was like, it was my voice and it was my way of being able to communicate with people when I had a lot of trouble being able to do that. And so it was actually a very grounding um, thing to do and really, really helped me over the years to then be able to get comfortable with talking with people and being able to like give them eye contact and like all the other things that you just do when you're around people that wasn't exactly as natural. So it's really, really amazing what music can do. And for those of you watching who maybe don't actually play an instrument, even just listening to certain types of music, I'm sure all of you have noticed that, yeah, there's certain songs you're drawn to that like really buoy you up and make you feel like you're like floating and like flying everywhere. And then there's others that really ground you and center you. And then there's others that calm you. And then there's others too, particularly of the piano sort, that take you on whole adventures and you're like traveling through all sorts of time periods and places. So even if you're not actually doing any playing of an instrument or improv per se, um, there's still so much that we all do get from music that it's awesome to take a bit of time this evening to just kind of celebrate that.
Yeah, I think it's important to listen to music, and especially through dancing. Yeah, yeah, Beth just said it,
Hmm.
dancing.
Yeah.
But that's really good. And I saw when you and Kristen were dancing, you like tripped over something or something in the chorus. I noticed that was really funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally tripped because I was just really in the moment. And actually, thanks for bringing that up too, Beth, because dancing often mixes music in as well and is another wonderful way to just really lift your vibration or like ground yourself or, yeah, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And it's another way to really, really get connected. That was another thing that I always found um, resonated with me too growing up was the dancing because it had that music added.
Yeah, I used to listen to really heavy vibrational rap all the time. So I had a whole
Mhm.
playlist dedicated to that, and I didn't listen to very much other music. But then after I awakened, I don't know how many music to listen to. So I started listening to like Lord of the Rings music and piano music and like a few other music. But other than that, like I didn't know what to listen to. But now I've starting to listen to more things and stuff. And but like a few months, I just listened to that just to get away from the rap and all that stuff because some of it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, yeah. That was never an area that I was ever able to go into because, again, growing up with piano, I was the kid who would choose to listen to classical music, and to this day, I don't know very much about most like well-known bands or singers because I grew up listening to classical music, or I had a few like musicals that my mom had kicking around on CDs that I listened to. But so interesting, yeah, how different types of music do create those different vibrations and kind of change with where we're at as well. Cool.
Yeah, the thing I like about dancing is like you are the instrument and it's like very cool. You can
Mhm.
just I don't know. It's really fun in that way. In that way, you can just express yourself
Mhm.
just with it. I don't know. I just like dancing on my own a lot. It's just really fun. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
like you can't really go dancing out very much if you're like really high vibrational because like the clubs and stuff, it's so low vibrational. Like the sometimes the music is like
Mhm.
okay, you can dance to it, but then sometimes it's really bad. Sometimes
Mhm.
everyone's drinking there or this or that. But I don't know. I'm just going on and on unending details, but you know.
That's okay. That's another area that I couldn't talk about because, again, being the like super introverted pianist kid, I never stepped a foot in any clubs because, yeah, I found just generally walking out around people in public was just like such a sensory overload that like going to a pub would be like, yeah, no, or a club or whatever, no. Ooh, Liz. Yes, you just asked the question that I have a lot to say about that. So she's just asking here if there's any favorite classical artists that I'd recommend. And yeah, I have lots because it, again, really depends on what kind of mood you're really, really wanting to like multiply. And so for pianists, I always gravitated toward, as you can probably tell even by the way that um, the channel music I play comes across, the composers known as the Romantic composers from like the 1800s thereabouts, and they are Chopin, Rachmaninoff, a little bit of Brahms sometimes, Ravel, and Debussy. So those are my main ones, particularly Chopin, Ravel, and Debussy. Also Liszt. So those are all piano composers, and some of them composed other things for other instruments or combos of instruments as well. But they resonated the most with me always because they had a style that's very similar to the Impressionist paintings, where it's just like lots of soft colors, and there's this very, very like flowing kind of movement that's very much like water or wind. And then some of them too that I don't gravitate toward as much, but when I was a teenager, I was really into were pieces by Rachmaninoff and Brahms that have really big crashing chords. So that was my teenage rebellion. It was like sitting down at the piano and playing crashing Rachmaninoff. Yeah.
Where can you find all that
Really, really
music?
fun though, and it's
Like,
a good way to just. It was a good way to get that energy out as a teenager that I wasn't good at like speaking, and I just crash it out like a Rachmaninoff prelude. And today, even sometimes they're occasionally fun, but I do tend to stick to the softer kind of romantic composers. And otherwise, for other composers, let's see, that are more modern, um, I would say going toward, well, a lot of different soundtracks nowadays have really, really wonderful music to them, particularly anything that's by Howard Shore or Harry Gregson Williams is wonderful, and I'm sure I'm forgetting quite a few.
yeah, I love Howard
But
Shore. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I could talk and talk and talk about different composers and their sounds, like Bach, for example, the one from the Baroque period, the one that composed for like the harpsichord. That's that really tangy kind of sounding first version of what a piano would become. That's very, very rhythmical and very structured. And you get like 15 different voices all layered over top of each other. But when you play it, you feel like you've gone back into the Baroque period, which is about the 1600s, 1700s. So it's interesting playing some of that music, and then you get like all the history coming out of the song as well, which even though I don't play a lot of music composed by others as much as I used to now, particularly with the way my wrist is, it's always fun to play those pieces, and then you do find yourself going back into those time periods or feeling this is what the vibration was like in that time period. This is what that composer was feeling in that time period. And then it still comes out in the music and the way that it was structured. But apologies to you, Paul, and anyone else. I kind of went
No,
on a little bit
that's
of a ramble there about music, really trying to not use any musical terms. So I hope I didn't lose anybody too much there.
no, it's good to see you're so passionate about it. That's really important. That's like the only important thing, honestly. And also, yeah, you should make a list and like post it up on your page so we can listen to some, because I didn't know a lot of those, but so we can listen to
Okay,
some of
I will
those.
definitely do that. So yeah, right after this live, you guys, since Paul's made that awesome suggestion, I'll just put a list of the different composers' names, and then I may also put up a couple specific songs. I may or may not do that. If you start asking me about specific songs, we would be here all night. We really would.
You
Ooh,
would start spamming
yeah,
everyone.
yeah, no. I kind of leave the spamming of my favorite pieces or like my current song over on my personal page. That's where I always put up different music that I'm into at the moment. That's all that really obscure stuff that um, most people don't know.
So do you think we're about done here? It's about almost an hour.
Mm,
I think we've been
mm,
almost gone for an hour.
yeah. Thanks everyone for hanging on and watching. For kind of just a general open conversation and yeah, a little bit of the music. I'm feeling like I might finish off kind of just to close this space with
Yeah, definitely.
another
Finish off with
last
something.
little
Encore.
song just to close it off because it's that nice. Opened it with some music, close it off. You know, Seth, I've
Definitely,
never
definitely.
actually checked in if I've had another life as a classical musician. I know I had a life as a clockmaker. I don't know about the classical musician though, so I'll have to tune into that and get back to you on that. It is a passion.
Oh my God, that was so amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now. But
Yep.
you, thank you so
All
much.
right.
Amazing,
Thank you so much for
amazing.
coming on and for sharing your music as well, Paul. It was wonderful. And thank you for everyone for watching and sharing your energy with all of us. All right. Until next time.